Good evening, fellow opera lovers. Today I saw the Met's production of Faust in a live feed at a local theater. Maybe you saw it at a theater near you, or maybe you didn't have that opportunity and would like to know what all the fuss is about. Well, I can tell you I was pre-prejudiced not to like this production. That's because the reviews that I read gave very negative comments about the production, and the Met itself put on a few clips to YouTube, and I did not like what I saw. But I still wanted to see it because it had a very stellar cast, headed by Jonas Kaufmann playing Faust, Rene Pape as Mephistopheles, and Marina Poplavskaya as Marguerite. So I went to the theater, and as soon as the lights dimmed and the orchestra began playing, I knew who the star of this show was going to be, and it was going to be the conductor, whose name is Yannick Nezet-Seguin. He drew out of the orchestra a very nuanced and beautiful, a beautiful performance. There were very subtle crescendos and decrescendos. There was tremendous give and take in the rhythm. A lot of care was given to the ensembles, to the overall vision of the opera musically. There were great dramatic pauses. It was going to be hard to dislike this performance, no matter what the scenery looked like. So let's get the scenery out of the way. What we had here was sort of a clinical one set. I hate those one set things. And this one was kind of tubes down the sides of the stage, and then these twirly spiral staircases. And inside this tubular set, they sometimes projected videos or pictures of windows. It was okay. It kept your interest. The chorus and dancers moved around a lot. There was tremendous interest in the physical movement. However, this production is supposed to take place in between at the end of World War II, after the bomb has exploded, or possibly when the war has ended and before the bomb explodes. In any case, Faust at the beginning appears as a laboratory scientist wearing this cape, which looked like he came out of the 1800s. So I already was confused. And later, when Marguerite appears in the opera, she's wearing basically a schmata. She looks like a shepherdess from Sweden or Minnesota or Iowa, I don't know. She didn't go at all with her clothes did not go at all with the rest of the costumes. And when the soldiers come out, I had no idea what country they were from. So the costumes were a wild array of things. But as all of you know, I don't go to the opera to review the costumes or the sets. I go to hear the singing. And this was a first-class cast, headed up by Mr. Kaufmann. His portrayal of Faust was just magnificent vocally, and romantically, and any other way you want to think. He looked the part, he acted the part. When he was singing in his loudest, most ardent voice, it was thrilling. And then he was able to sing in this very hushed voice that had extremely dark tones. It's a fabulous instrument, and he knows how to use it very well. Mr. Pape, also fabulous. All through the opera, his singing was very demonic. Excellent. Miss Poplavskaya is a very good singer, but I don't love her. She kind of has a hard edge to her voice at the top. I usually find her acting very sympathetic, but I did not today in Acts 1 and 2. She starts out singing, when she starts out singing her arias, first the King of Tulle and then the Jewel Song, I was completely unmoved And as the first two acts went along, her portrayal was very ho-hum. But all of that changed in Act 3. Actually, Act 3 was altogether fabulous. But she was the real star of Act 3. She comes out in this really crazed look. They cut off her hair very choppy, just like scissors here and scissors there, just any old way. And she has this deranged look on her face. After all, she's just killed her child. I hope that didn't spoil the plot for anyone. And then later Faust tries to seduce her back to his way, which doesn't work, thank goodness. And she is redeemed and goes to heaven. The singing of the final trio was just beautiful. It's one of my favorite ends of any opera. And then the chorus comes out and just finishes the whole thing in this blaze of glorious music. In general, I'm really not a fan of Faust. I'm not a fan of Gounod's music. I find a lot of it trite. This opera, though, does have some very good individual pieces. But today, it held together extremely well. The conductor gets the biggest kudos of all. So I was glad I went. Now I'd like to say a few words about the reviewers who prejudiced me so much against this production. They were very critical of both the concept and the sets. And while I did not particularly like the sets, I'm not a fan of the one set thing, I thought at least it was original. It's hard to do something original with Faust. It's such a well-known story, and it's kind of a trite story. I was glad I went to the opera. I give it 2 big thumbs up. And I'm looking forward to a few productions that are coming up. I can't wait to see this Enchanted Island. One of my favorite singers, David Daniels, will be in it. He's a countertenor. I heard him live at the Met many years ago. It was an evening I will always remember. And then later comes the end of the Ring cycle, Götterdämmerung, and finally in Ernani comes Angela Meade. I'm so hoping that she does a great job because I just love her voice. So I hope all of you got a chance to see Faust, and if not today, maybe you'll see it on an encore production. And please leave your comments on the page for this video clip. Good night.